Had a good time. I hope it helped because we ended the journey series and now we're going to start a new series, which is Empty Your Vessel. And this is really going to come from what you actually raised, most of you. The points that you kept on talking about, the challenges that you have been experiencing, and this is what birthed this new series. Okay, Empty Vessel series. So you're very welcome. Let's wait for others to join in and then we can start immediately. But you are very welcome. Good to see you. For those who are new, my name is Jacinta. This is Build Beyond You. And this channel is dedicated to those ones who are in the process of rediscovering your identities, nurturing your innate abilities, and overcoming all the obstacles that hinder you from moving forward from one level to the other, and then stepping into your true leadership authority. What is that sphere of leadership where you are allotted? Is it government? Is it media? Is it economy, that is commerce? Is it religion? Where exactly are you led to be placed? So, today we are going to be talking about emptying your vessel. That's what we're going to be focusing on, and that is the series that we're beginning today. We've been going through a number of series since December, breaking the cycles, rebuilding identity, from survival mode to stewardship. Then we also had vice to virtue. Then we had the opportunities, re-entry cycle series. All these are series that have been moving in a chronological order. And the journey series must have been, there's a series I think I have missed out there. And now we are on the empty vessel series. Okay, but you're very welcome. Let's wait just a little bit for others to join in so that they don't miss much. Yeah, but Kezi, you can maybe in the meantime give me feedback. Pius, if you have anything to ask, you can ask. But Kezi, in the meantime, you can give us feedback on anything that you want to talk about. Hi, Grace. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Good to see you. I was wondering where you were. Okay. Hi, Mia. How are you? Mia, what happened yesterday? We waited for you. Yesterday, you left early due to work schedule. Oh, but you have been listening. You listened to yesterday's class until the end. Oh, okay. That's nice. It's good you listened to it. Did you enjoy it? Though it was a bit, I need to edit the video. It was a bit long. And because we had a lot of, we were really, it was an interaction. It was a Q&A. And we had a lot of discussions while going through all the series, trying to summarize the series, what we were talking about, and the impact that each lesson has had on people. So I hope you can also find a way of sitting down and reconciling with yourself, with lesson per lesson, how it has contributed. But now, you enjoyed the ladies venting out. Yes, that is true. They were really, really venting out. But good to see you guys. Good to see you. Actually, you can like the live so that people can actually get to it. When you like the live, how can you stick to your habits to achieve your goals? Okay. So now that we have begun the empty vessel series, all these questions are going to be answered in this series. Okay. You the disciplines that you're going to be carrying out to stick to your the habits. You would call them habits, but I think the right word would be disciplines. Okay, that you would need to stick to be able to achieve your goals. I think that would be the right word to use. So like the life, guys, like the life, so that people can actually get to know about it. Okay, like the life, please. Like the life. Okay. So, empty vessel series. Grace, I hope you're doing well. I hope everything is going on well. This one is going to help all of you because this is the beginning of the journey that we have, the things that we have been going through now. It's taking a totally different turn. Remember that the last class we had was about purpose. So this is actually a continuation of what we dealt with in the last um, lesson. Okay. Now, what do I mean by empty to be filled? This is when desperation becomes the beginning of purpose. Casey, the title is Empty to be Filled When Desperation Becomes the Beginning of Purpose. Where do I come from when I say desperation? Yeah. You see, one of the most high, Brenda, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. I'll tell you one of the most misunderstood places in transformation is desperation. When you are desperate, when you are dissatisfied, when you are exhausted, when you are feeling so empty, emotionally drained, you are spiritually dry, you are financially pressured, you are internally fragmented, you are completely empty within yourself. That is that part of transformation that is misunderstood. You think things are going down. Everyone around you, see him, how are you? Good to see you. Everyone around you, guys, like the live so that others can get access to the live. Yeah, thank you very much. So, what happens is when you are going through this particular this particular phases of your life, like that dissatisfaction, or when things are going down completely, people will mistake even you yourself and the people who are watching will mistake that dissatisfaction, that you being emotionally drained, you being financially pressured, you being exhausted, and all that. They will mistake it. Huh? They will mistake it for maybe you failed. Karma has caught up with you. Those are the words that people keep saying. I need you to actually like the real like. You see the button of like on your screens. That like that's like this kind of like so that others can access. Because most of the times they keep asking, we can't access. They come in my inbox. But if you like, maybe the people in your contacts will be able to see. You can click on that thumb. So thank you very much, by the way. I really do appreciate that kindly all of you. like so like I said, we always begin our journey toward purpose when we are exhausted. Yeah. But that transformation phase is very misunderstood. But it is actually the beginning of the process of transformation. So you remember the transformation process that we have been going through, like from the encounters, what you uncovered, what those encounters exposed, what did you reconcile? Did you choose to heal or choose to align? Then integrating, that is moving forward differently, plus all the lessons that we went through in the journey series. Yeah. Now, when it came to yesterday's Q&A, most of you were right, were the answers that we were giving: fear, that talking too much, lack of confidence, this and that, so many different areas that and I told you to I'm going to get a class for that. So when I said I'm going to get a class for us, now here we are beginning the empty vessel series. And the empty vessel series is every time you are going through these experiences, because all along you've been fine, but now why are you feeling exhausted? Why are you dissatisfied? Why are you emotionally drained? Why are you internally fragmented? Why are you completely empty within yourself? Okay, let me give you a very short story that will give you a very clear understanding of what I'm talking about. There was a widow in the Bible who had her two sons, and her husband died. They were about to come for the two sons to take them into slavery because the husband left her debt. So she goes to the prophets and tells them, that's Prophet Elisha, and tells him, my sons are going to be taken, but my husband was a good man and he was a good prophet in this land. I think he contributed greatly to this land. But now my sons are going to be taken. See, and they were going to be taken into slavery because of a debt that her husband had left behind. And all she could think of, all she could see, all she could imagine was that she lacked. That was the only thing that was in her head. I lack. I don't have How do I repay back this debt that I owe? What my husband left behind. But the first question that Prophet Elisha asked her, yeah, was not about the problem of lack. It was about, he asked her, what do you have in your house? And the lesson, yeah, that I want us to understand, why I've given that very short story, the lesson that I want us to understand is that purpose does not, it actually rarely begins from a point of abundance. It rarely begins from a point of abundance. It actually often begins from a point of emptiness, from a place where your strength has failed completely, your plans have failed, your image has failed, like you have been slandered completely. There's an operation that has gone on behind your back to slay you completely to zero, to make you look like you're the worst person in the world. These and like stories have been told about you. God allows all this, your image, your reputation, to go down, your business, your ministry, your work, your job, your finances, your relationships, everything to go down. And all your survival methods no longer work. That is where purpose, as leaders, as stewards, as visionaries, as builders, you see, many times we become so full of the pressure at work, the pride, that self pride, fear of how will people see me in this now, at this level, like coming from here to down. Yeah. Comparison, bitterness, shame, expectations. Yeah. You have set out expectations and you don't want to. You can imagine the shame and the disgrace that's going to come on you if you are probably demoted from where you are. And you see, that survival mode that we cling on to, yeah, leaves no room for transformation. God cannot help you if you refuse to empty yourself of all the things I have talked about, of that fear that you were talking about yesterday, of that lack of confidence, of unforgiveness, of bitterness, of anger, of shame, of disgrace, of the expectations that you have put out there, and you feel like, I'll be so embarrassed if I just say, okay, guys, you know what, I'm resigning. Da, 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 da. There are people who have reached that level and they have to resign publicly. But sometimes, most of the times, that is the beginning of purpose. The widow thought she had nothing. She thought she had nothing, yet the solution was already in her house. Oops, sorry. Sorry. Came through in here. Let me just tell the person I'm in class. Sorry about that. Okay, so the widow thought that she had nothing at all, yet the solution was already in her house. In the same way that we all go out and search, we look for, I need a solution here, I need a solution, I need money here, I need money here, I need this. You go, you look, but when purpose is calling you, when it is time for purpose, even if you go out to so many different places, you will still come back to yourself, because what you're looking for is already placed within you. And that's exactly what was happening with her. So the Empty Vessel series is introducing a foundation of the last lesson that we had, which was purpose. And with all the Q&A, all the complaints that you kept talking about, the fear, the challenges you've been having from the time that we started the encounters to purpose. What is it? And in my assessment, now we needed to go back, because that's where purpose begins, from where you are. And this is the part of transformation that we all misunderstand. We think when we are going through failure, we think when we are going through the betrayals, we think when we are going through financial downfall, we think when we are going through all this shame and disgrace and bitterness and comparison, we think that something is totally wrong, but it is part of purpose. We are going to learn how to empty ourselves of what no longer serves us. That's the only way you begin purpose. Juliet, how are you? Good to see you. The moment you empty yourself of what doesn't serve you, then you begin to fill yourself with what serves you. And that's what empty your vessels is all about. You have to. Yesterday, remember how we closed off? I told you, no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. You have to get a revelation of your true self. No one is coming to save you, Casey. I don't know which part of pardon you want me to say. I said um, the lesson that we are having today is going to introduce the foundation of this empty, the vessel series. Okay. When I say empty the vessel, I mean empty so that you can be filled. You need to empty yourself of what no longer serves your purpose, what no longer serves you, so that God can fill you with what does. And that's what empty that vessel of yours is all about. When we began with breaking the cycles in December, how do we empty? That's exactly what we are going to be going through grace. This is what we are going to be going through. I want you to stick with me in this series. It's called Empty the Vessel. When I say empty the vessel, means we are going to empty ourselves of everything, every chaff. The moment you empty, you see, when you are so full of fear, lack of confidence, shame and disgrace, and all those near success syndromes, poverty, lack, all these incapacities, inconsistency, when you're so full of that, there's no room for this to come and for you to build capacity. There's no room for you to be filled with the right things, the ones that we've been talking about: stewardship, yeah, alignment, responsibility, all the things that we have been talking about. When this is full, this cannot be filled. The vessel cannot be filled. Are we together? Now I need to see hands that we are together on this one. Brenda, are you here? Kezzy, Grace, Sim, are you all here? Pius, raise your hands. I want to see if you're all there so that I start properly, because I want you to understand where. Who else? You here? Who else? Brenda, are you all here? Thank you, Maya. Good, good. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, now that we are together, because I want us to understand very clearly what I mean by emptying that vessel, which is you. Okay? Which is you. For those ones who haven't yet liked the live, please like. Not the hearts. The hearts is okay, but I'm talking about the like, so that other people can access the live. They need to access the live. So when I say empty yourself, the principle of empty vessels, I go back to the story, the widow. Her desperation was about, I don't have. I have a date. They are taking the sons, they're going to take them because they need to pay the date, their father's date. Maybe they're taking them for 4 years, or maybe they're taking them forever, but I am handing over my sons so that they can pay the debt that either the father left. It could, now the debt could be a generational debt. It could be the debt like the father had. Okay. And you see, That desperation reveals something very, very powerful even in our daily lives. Yeah. When you're going through the worst pain, that is when you surrender. That is when it changes your perception of everything. It changes your perception of everything. You see, you can be going through so much pain. Have you ever seen people who walk away from a lot of riches and say, to hell, because of so much pain, they would rather be free. Because that pain changes your perception completely. But what does fear do? Fear magnifies what is missing while minimizing what remains. So you see, the woman was saying, I don't have anything. I lack. I lack. You keep saying, I lack. You think you lack because you fear. You think that this lack is everything. And that fear is minimizing what is still in the house, you, the vessel. Because you're paying so much attention to what you lack. And it's a normal human thing. You can, until you become aware of it, until you get the revelation of it. And that's what I'm trying to bring today. Because when Elisha asked her, she immediately answered, nothing. I have nothing. Only afterward did she acknowledge, except a small jar of oil. I only just have a small jar there of oil, but I have nothing. So if I am to ask you the same question, what do you have? You say nothing. Just this small job, just this. And that's the condition that people live in. They no longer see their abilities. They don't see their calling. They don't see the wisdom that they have. They don't see the resilience that they have built. Because if you have gone through this pain, there's resilience that you've built. As long as you are alive, there's resilience that you've built. There are gifts, there are experiences that you have gone through. When someone asks you, what do you have? You'll say, nothing. Even the grace to sustain what you currently have, something that you have, but you only see debt, you only see pressure, you only see disappointment, you only see rejection, you only see failure, you only see exhaustion, you only see fear. Eh. But you see, that oil, it mattered more than the emptiness that she felt at that particular time. Because what did that oil represent? Capacity. What did the oil represent? Purpose. What did the oil represent? Potential. What did the oil represent? Grace. What did the oil represent? Provision, as small as it was. What did the oil represent? Hidden possibilities that are just not revealed, or that are revealed, but because of the fear that magnifies what you lack and minimizes the capacity that you've built so far, the experiences, the purpose, the potential that is in you, the provision that you already have, just that you don't see it, the hidden possibilities, which are opportunities in you. And you see, her miracle then only began after she started gathering the empty vessels. When she started gathering the empty vessels, because he told her, go out and gather all the vessels from your neighbors. Ask them, give me them. Ask them for vessels. Then go in your house with your two sons, lock up the door, start filling those vessels with oil. We are going to go through the empty vessel series. I'm not going to discuss the whole. Today, I'm only discussing that particular part. But you'll see how the story is going to go through all throughout the lessons we're having. Okay? But you're going to see the leadership principle that transformation requires an empty space. If you're so full of the pride, the fear, lack of confidence, the low self-esteem, the inferiority complex, the people pleasing, lack of confidence, all those things that we've been talking about on a daily here, the things we struggle with on a daily, if you're still, that space is still filled with those things, transformation is going to be hitting a rock. It's going to be hitting a rock. And that's why yesterday when we were closing, we said, no one is coming to save you. You have to do it yourself. You see, most people want purpose without surrendering. Now, where will purpose sit if the space is full of those issues? You want healing, but you don't want to be honest. When corrected, you take it personal. You don't want to be honest about things that are actually so true but bitter for you to listen or hear. You want transformation, but you don't want to release what is poisoning you internally. Because whatever you're transforming is you. But what is it that is still poisoning you? That bitterness, that jealousy, that anger, that envy. You look at another person and you covet them. When you are also well endowed with gifts and abilities, and you go ahead and you create a very mind-bending operation to smear campaign somebody everywhere. But you're also very gifted, but just because you don't want to put in the work. You want to run and enjoy the impact of another person's effort. And that's what happens in real life. I know you have all experienced these things. Yes, yeah. You've all experienced people who have come in your lives, those Absalom spirits. You know, David had a son called Absalom. Hey, whatever he said when he went out there, they could believe because he was the son. So imagine we sit here in this class, yeah, every single day. And then Mia, after that you go and you represent me. I'm just giving an example. And you represent me. People are going to believe you because you've been attending my classes and probably we've been moving together in ministry and everything. People are going to believe you. That's what Absalom did to David. And that's where you have all experienced pain. All of you. I want to acknowledge it. Most of you have experienced pain with betrayals from probably people you trusted, and you've held on to it. It has brought unforgiveness, it has brought bitterness. But remember, when I told you in breaking the cycles, the intention of that betrayal is so that you become bitter. The intention of that betrayal is so that you can harbor unforgiveness. And what is the target? Your identity. What is the target? Your purpose. So if you don't see the chronological order of the structure that was built against you, or against your bloodline, or against your family, it has a very serious root. And the fruits is what you see. You withdraw, you isolate, you get bitter, people hate you, you don't know why. So many other different things happen. But now it's time for us to get to the truth. There's nothing that is in the past. We now have to move forward, right? We now have to move forward. Because if we keep on wailing, no one is going to save you from that. If you open that door for yourself, you have to close it. Whether you opened it or not, you have to close that door. I like what Casey yesterday said. It ends with me. Because it actually needs to end with you. Otherwise, you're going to wail forever. Till when? And like people are moving on forward with their lives. And when I said purpose, this is what I meant. We are going to focus less on the problem or on the problems we're experiencing. Okay? When I say Build beyond you is about identity alignment, building systems and structures, okay? And then leading without emotional instability. When I say these three things, this is what I mean. Focus less on the problems you are having. What counters these problems is what we are building. So when I say get your pens and notebooks and start creating your roadmap, no one is going to come and save you. You have to replace the structure that was built against you. You have to build it yourself. Of course, you know you cannot be self-reliant, okay? But there has to be a party, a participant who is you, the human vessel, which is the human blueprint. So whatever structure it is, that wall, you are responsible for pulling down these bricks, layer by layer. It's not going to take. So when Pius asked, how do I? Pius, I'm going to get back to the question you asked because now the answer is coming. You asked, how can I stick to my habits to achieve my goals? This is what you do. You build systems and structures daily around every area, aspect of your life, whether mental, whether financial, whether relational, whether spiritual, whether physical. You build systems and structures. You align your identity. And then you lead without emotional instability. And that's exactly how we're going to empty. We're going to go through this series. You're not going to miss this class. You're going to attend every day because you're going through a transformation process. You're going to follow up yourselves like after in the platforms where God has placed you in your work, in your businesses, wherever, and you implement. But you have to put in the work. Transformation requires an empty space. So the empty space is your work to do. Okay? You see, if you want God to intervene, He will feel surrendered capacity. What do I mean? Pride must be empty. So He will fill you with humility. Bitterness must be empty. That's a vice. All these are vices. He will fill you with the opposites, which are the virtues. Fear must be empty. Performance must be empty. Quit performance. They're going to be real. Comparison must be empty. Shame must be empty. What replaces shame? Honor. He is the one who's going to give you the honor. But you need to empty. Survival mentality must be empty. Because, you know, many visionaries, leaders, stewards, they are externally very successful. But when you look at the internal state of the person, it is overcrowded, confused, pain, pain that is never spoken. And you see, when your internal world is overcrowded, eventually your leadership is going to become unstable. These are the embarrassments that we keep seeing because you refuse to deal with it. If no one wants to face it, it's hard. It's hard to face it. So I wouldn't even blame anybody. But when you start seeing your relationships strained, and maybe you are attracting what you're not supposed to be attracting, because there's a work in you that's calling you, your attention, your decisions start becoming fear-driven. And then whatever you're trying to build looks fragmented, like, you know, they are dense. And before you know it, your vision loses its clarity. People start dictating how this should go, you start adding things into your businesses that you did not originally intend to put in your business or in your ministry or in your personal life or marriage or whatever. And that's why I keep saying renewal begins inwardly. Because remember, purpose is you serving, right? So what are you going to serve if you've not done the work inwardly? We're not going to pretend. Pretense has gone, guys. Today is fire. Pretense has gone. There is no performance. You're going to surrender to empty that vessel. And I only guide you. That brings me to this reflection session. I don't give you, before I, eh? So question one, do you have your pens and your notebooks? Hmm? Okay, so this is leadership, okay? Now you're no longer babies, we are eating meat. It's a bit tough, so I want you not to feel, okay? What areas of your life are you pretending you are okay when they actually need healing? What areas of your life are you pretending you are okay when they actually need healing? Let me give you an example. It will help to break the ice. Okay? For example, you pretend you are fine, hmm, because you fear to appear weak. This applies a lot to men. It applies a lot to men. A founder can have a business, or you can also have a job, or whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe you're a leader in community. Maybe you have a home, okay, and you've been building. But when you are emotionally exhausted, you are completely spiritually disconnected. As for the finances, they need help. You are burnt out completely, but outwardly you look very productive, but inwardly you are actually collapsing. You will have to cover up exactly. It's good to acknowledge, because that's the fear of appearing empty. You don't want to appear empty. You don't want to acknowledge that I am vulnerable in this area. We're not saying go on this in a pulpit and announce all your weaknesses. No, 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 no. Now, for example, we are in a session like this. Okay, we're in a session like this where we are now emptying the vessel, but it requires honesty, commitment, and you saying, okay, let me be honest. So, where are you feeling completely financially exhausted or spiritually exhausted? You are burnt out, you are emotionally exhausted. Which area of your life have you been pretending that you are okay when you actually need healing? If you can answer that, we are good to go. Question two, let's focus on what is missing. Hmm? Have you become more conscious of what you lack than what God has already placed within you? Have you become more conscious of what you lack than what God has already placed within you? Relationships, okay, that's good. It's good to acknowledge. It's good to acknowledge. Have you become more conscious of what you lack than what God has already placed within you? You see, I talked about the widow, how she focused on what she lacked, yeah, instead of what she had inside. I said, have you become more conscious of what you lack than what God has already placed in you? Have you become more conscious of what you lack than what God has already placed in you? Um, like I was saying, the widow was focusing so much on what she was lacking. You see, you can compare yourself to others constantly, 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 constantly. You don't look at yourself in the mirror. You don't like the mirror. You don't like what you see. So you just keep comparing yourself. You see that comparison results into coveting somebody else's, whatever it is that you have admired, and now you want it. Then you, before you know it, you're going into you're either kind of person who keeps saying, I don't have enough money, I am behind in life, others are more gifted than myself, nothing is working for me. Those are your statements. Hmm? You completely ignore the wisdom that you have because you have it, so you ignore it. Whereas if you know that you have it, then you start focusing on what can we do now? Let me use what I have and start building. Because that's exactly what's going to counter what you don't have. You ignore the experiences, you ignore the lessons that you have learned in life. Because the things you have experienced. And by the way, there are problems that you have actually solved. The resilience. Have you gone through a certain situation and you were able to go through, you overcame that situation? That's a solution already in your hands. What do you have? You ignore the relationships. The person might be right next to you and they're a connection. They are like a door or a key, but because you're focusing so much on what you lack, then you even forget the abilities that are in you completely because you're focusing so much on what you lack. Kezzy, did you get the question? Or do you want me to help you? Hmm? I can help you. Let me just help you. It may have been a bit long for her. It's there. Okay? So that was focusing on what is missing. You're focusing on what is missing. But now I want you to ask yourself, have you become more conscious of what you lack than what God has placed in you? Okay. So the third question. What internal clutter must be emptied for transformation to truly begin? What is that internal clutter that now must be emptied for transformation to truly begin? What is that internal clutter? You see, we many people are so emotionally full, but spiritually empty. And every time we focus on the emotions of anger, resentment, fear, lust, distraction, validation seeking, people pleasing, self hatred, pride, survival instincts, every time you are so full of those emotions, jealousy, envy, hatred, every time you're so full of that internal clutter, because it's clutter, it's disorder, it's disorganization. Every time you're so full of that, definitely you are spiritually empty. Because when you are spiritually full, there's a way it just shrinks, 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 shrinks. Before you know it, it's extinct. That clutter cannot just go away. You have to replace it. And I keep talking about the replacement mechanism. You know the statement of Paul, I know. Jesus, I know. You are. And they whoop you because you still have clutter. No, Ajara, not too late, but you're late. Let me put question 3. Casey might be busy, by the way, usually when she's busy. Question 3 is there. What internal clutter must be emptied for transformation to truly begin. That internal clutter that I'm talking about, it will remain there. You are not strong in your own self. Like you're not self-reliant in wisdom, strength. No. For example, emotional clutter like anger, bitterness, resentment, fear. Those are all emotions. Lust, distraction, people pleasing, self hatred, jealousy, envy, pride, survival instincts. All those are emotions. Lack of confidence, talking too much. Da, 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 da. All those are emotional, internal clutter. Too much clutter. Too much clutter. When gossipers are gossiping, you also go. Now, how do you expect to shrink? Because praying is not enough. You can kneel down and pray, and then the next thing you do, are in the group gossiping. Test the spirit by its fruits. Answer your questions there within yourselves, because don't say I didn't understand. Jesus, sorry. I didn't understand lesson one. Go, carry out, apply. Transformation is about application. If you do not apply, when we are on lesson 10, don't talk about lesson one. Okay? This time I'm very serious because now we are serious. If you miss a class, make sure you come for the next class when you have listened, because now whatever is streamed live goes live. So make sure you listen, do their work, and then come to class the next. Same thing, but make sure that you follow through. If you're on this transformation journey. So, next question 4. Could your current frustrations actually be an invitation into purpose? Could your current frustrations actually be an invitation into purpose? Grace, I know. Grace has said, Madam Jacinta, today, oh, but we love you either. Oh, yes, today I'm tough. Because now I'm not speaking to, we've been going through, that's why I left TikTok and I brought you here to this community. Because now I want serious people. Okay? I want serious people who are ready to take on this journey. If you're not serious, you get off. You can remain 1, 2, 3, it is okay. Okay? It's important that we move forward. I have to deliver the message. You have to receive the message. Now, let me get my charger. Sorry, guys. Forgive me. Please forgive me. So, could your current frustration actually be an invitation into purpose? What do I mean by that? Yeah. You see, most of us think, when purpose begins, life is going to become easy. But you see, purpose often begins when you are tired. When you are tired, you're exhausted, you're desperate, you're so humbled by the what do you call it, Embera? You are so humbled. You're broken, you're dissatisfied, and you're just searching for meaning. That is when, by the way, purpose begins. That is the transformation phase. Yes, Kezi, tell her, Mia, if you miss class, you must watch first before you come to the class. I don't want anyone coming here when they are asking questions that, you see, it's okay to ask questions for clarification, let's make reference, but not dragging us backward. because now I want serious people. Pay attention and apply. Apply, apply, apply. Wherever, it doesn't matter where you are. Apply. If you don't apply, yeah, me actually did. Kezi, she wrote in the beginning that she went and listened to everything. Thank you, Mia. If you don't apply, that's why you keep coming back and asking questions. It's okay to ask questions. I don't know whether you get my point. What I'm saying is, if you don't apply, you will start asking questions that require you to first apply. Then when you ask the questions that you're asking, we can tell that, okay, you applied, but there's a glitch here. You understand? There's a difference between those kind of questions and questions of like completely no application was done when you were in class. So as long as you are in this class, we started a new series. Okay, even the ones that are going to join, whoever you're going to invite to come for this transformation process, please tell them to go and watch the classes before. Okay, now apply is the most important. If this one is calling you for consecration or separating you, please do. You cannot empty a vessel when your hands are like this. And you've seen the list of things. I don't know how far your list is. It could be from the ceiling to down. So you have to, those are all bricks. So imagine the time you're going to take emptying and the time you're going to take empty. So if you don't apply, these things have a compounding effect. Every step you put in to pull down this structure matters. Okay? So we're going to the how-to steps. How do we begin emptying ourselves for transformation? Grace, this is the question. Pius, this is the question you asked. How do we begin emptying ourselves for transformation? Step 1. Acknowledge. You notice 2 of your apps are distracting you and you shut them down. Good girl. Good girl. I know of someone who was on dating apps for a very long time. And then she just told me, I'm on dating apps. For what? Get off those dating apps for now. Just focus on purifying yourself. Look at yourself. You want to get married? Are you marriage material? You have to ask yourself very honest, bitter questions. You want to get married, but there's this, yes, and let's from there to there. But you're on dating apps. Whose son do you want to burden with your insecurities, what, all those things that we are mentioning? First, let's work on this. Before you even finish the journey, you're going to find your Boaz. So, question 5. Didn't I post it? No, we don't have question 5 today. We stopped on question 4. We don't have question 5. We're beginning the how to steps. Thank you very much, Kelly. You have been in class. Now you know that there have been 5 questions. I like that. So, how do we begin emptying ourselves for transformation? You want that job. You want that promotion. What have you done about it? You want that marriage. What have you done about you? First, acknowledge your true condition. Stop performing strength. That's the first thing I want you to stop doing. Stop performing. Acknowledge your true condition. You know you have where you have where to go, yeah, but you have also expectations of people pleasing, of how do I appear. Just acknowledge your true condition. Transformation is going to begin when you become honest about your exhaustion, about your confusion, about your fears, about your instability, about all these unhealthy cycles and that internal fragmentation. If you don't acknowledge your true condition and you get that promotion and you get into that marriage, then you're going to have to go step backward to work on these things that you didn't work on before you entered. And sometimes it may be shameful. So you'd rather prepare, build for where you're going. So acknowledge your true condition, then allow the transformation to Are you noting? Awareness is the beginning of alignment. Acknowledge any unhealthy cycles that are still present. Acknowledge any small instabilities that are still manifesting. Acknowledge any fear that is hindering you from step. Where is the fear coming from? Could it be originating from trauma? Now, how do we deal with trauma? You see, you have to go back to the Breaking the Cycle series. Step 2, identify what is occupying you internally. Identify what is occupying you internally. Ask yourself, what consumes most of my thoughts? What is consuming most of my thoughts? What emotions are dominating my decisions? Am I overly? See, they betrayed me, then after that, and it's time for us to say goodbye. It's time for us to say goodbye. We're going to be very intentional about what we are going to be doing, the steps that we're going to be taking. That's why I said action, because faith without action is dead. So we're going to action. Every time you become so busy actioning, does that word exist? Every time you become so busy doing that, it's going to kind of like, this one is going to start shrinking. I was listening. I laughed. I was listening to Pastor Kaula. He said, um, I no longer want people who come here with, I'm suffering with these curses, with these generational curses. I'm suffering with these snakes, with these tortoise, with these. I'm no longer. If you want those things to go, focus on what is important. Open the Bible, read 10 chapters a day, read 20 chapters a day. Every time you read, you consume that because it's a double-edged sword. It will keep swallowing, shrinking the vices. Every time you read. Shh, read. Shh, read. And you know what, guys? It is true. Experience. It is true. So, what is occupying you internally? What is consuming most of your thoughts? What emotions are dominating your decisions? What fears are controlling your behavior? I lack, I don't have. And you completely forget that fear is completely minimizing the beauty in you, the abilities that are in you. What bitterness are you carrying that you need to release? Those are some of the things that you cannot release on your own. You can't say, go, bitterness. Hey, you have to get down on your knees. Financial pressure. But you see, when you focus on financial pressure, you will forget to focus on the abilities that you have, which could lead you to the other door, then to the other door. You see, when you start focusing proactively on the most important things, let me take step by step. What is the next step? Then you ask God, please help me. So what do I do next? Okay, no, so what do I do? Okay, so what you see, now you're focusing on implementing what you need to do to deal with the financial pressure. But every time you look at the money, I don't have money, I don't have money, I don't have money. And it takes time to do these things that I'm talking about. It takes time, it takes commitment, sacrifice. So, what is it that is occupying you internally? What expectations are draining you? You expect to be those ends. You look at that house, that's what you want. You want that mansion, you want that marriage. You see someone is married for 20 years, you're like, I want that. What have you done about it? Have you started quarter a year? Oh, the 20 years that you are married. Oh, what do you think? Why don't you go and ask, what do you do? Please advise me, start telling me. Get your notebook, start asking. Let the person tell you. Let the person mentor you. the one that you admire, the one that carries those graces that you want to partake of. Now, that is the practical thing to do. You cannot heal what you refuse to identify. The moment you identify what is occupying you internally, then you start breaking it down into steps. Then you start even drawing tasks. Then you start doing activities. Then you. Now, in my personal mentorship, we got down to your individual. You see how I'm saying generally? Identify what is occupying you internally. If you want me to be your mentor, you schedule time and then you start you specifically. And now this one is general. 3, stop measuring your worth by external results. Stop measuring your, yes, Casey. No, it's the series, not even the lesson. The series is very practical. We've been understanding, renewing our mindsets, getting the knowledge, becoming aware, downloading. Now we are practical. And this is going to tell who is working and who is not working. You see, when they're evaluating you at the end of the 3 months, then they tell, that's when all your things of being on the laptop instead of being on your personal things on social media instead of working, you'll be exposed. So this one is going to expose who is working and who is not working, who is putting in action. Stop measuring your worth by external results. When the widow got her miracle, late in the story, shall we say, it was not based on external wealth. No one came to save her. She locked up herself in the room and started emptying the vessels. And then started feeling them, started doing these things that I'm telling you. You want the other marriage? What do I need to do? Let me work on my character. Let me work on my, okay. Those are the things that she kept on doing. Let's come to finances. What do I need to do? I need to, you start going to YouTube, you start listening to budgeting, you start consuming and understanding and applying. Then you go to, the intellectual property part. You start reading about this. You start becoming very practical. And these are the things that I give you in the mentorship classes. Practical and to you. You, specifically you. Because then we're going to look at your individual, then your how to, then that's how we build your roadmap. Then we work together, work together, work together. I guide you. I become your accountability partner. I will whoop you sometimes. You see here I'm tough, but there I'm tough. Then you say, no, madam, just think I'm done. I'm not. I say, it's okay. No problem. Then you come back. Then I say, okay, you come, sit down. What is the problem now? Where did we stop? Let's start from there. Then the whooping begins. And then you're like, probably I don't like your style. Because it is my style of teaching. Even you have your style of doing things, and probably a mother or a father somewhere or something, you'll also have your style of doing things. Everybody has their style. So if mine is tough, if God has led you to me, if God has led you to the other one, you have to honor who you're led to. That's also another thing. Don't go and be an Absalom. Because there are consequences. When you're doing it, it's okay. But after, if you come here on this platform, and then later you start disrespecting me, you will bear the consequences. I'm teaching you as an elder on that point. There I am teaching you. I'm not threatening you. I'm teaching you. Even if it's not me and you're under any mentor. Even if, let's say, Mia is Kezi's accountability partner. Mia, you respect Kezi. Kezi, you respect Mia. Are you understanding now what I mean? That honor. Hey, there are consequences. Today, no people pleasing at all. Mia, you're funny. Eh? What? You are damaged, my daughter. It's okay. We are in healing. That's what we are. That is what is happening in our empty. As we empty the vessels of all those vices, we need to empty. We need to empty. Okay. So when I say stop measuring your worth by the external results, yeah, your value as you is not determined by the titles, the status, the income, the applause, the recognition. No, all those are just accolades. The cars, the houses, I've been married for this number of years. Those things don't matter. Your value or your purpose begins with what is in you, what has been placed in you. Because out of my belly shall flow rivers of living water. But it will require emptying, then building, then we go. Step 4, create internal space. Create internal space. Create internal space. You must intentionally move unhealthy attachments. Please. That one is a non negotiable. You must remove unhealthy attachments. You must ask God to show you, who am I supposed to? Who is allowed access into my life, my family, my space? Who? And remove any unhealthy attachments. It's not only just removing people, but even you yourself. Are you attached to them? You know what I'm talking about, eh? Toxic thinking, destructive habits, and start replace those destructive habits with disciplines. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Remove emotional clutter. Any patterns of survival, remove. Remove. Growth requires capacity. Growth requires capacity. When you remove and you start acting on this, doing that, you're building. The last step 5, allow God to rebuild you differently. Allow God to rebuild you differently. Because this journey is not just about healing pain. You can heal, but you need to align. You need to check out all this disorder and start become orderly. It is about becoming someone capable of carrying responsibility, purpose responsibly. It's not just merely recovery and then you sleep. No, 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 no. The goal is alignment. The goal is impact. The goal is preservation. The goal is passing down the torch, the baton. So from healing or deliverance, okay, to dominion, to legacy. From building capacity, then you can access opportunities, then you can have property, then you can have a seat on a king's table. Are you seeing? It does not go the other way around. No, no, no. I need to first get capital. First, build capacity. First, revitalize this talent. It's natural inability of yours. First, get right with God. Your mind, renew it. First, get the tools that you're going to use that are going to sustain these businesses, these properties, these relationships that you're accessing. How are you going to maintain the high-end relationships that you really want to? Those associations, they require you to first build capacity to go and sit with those people. Do you see how it's important? Allow God to rebuild you differently. It's not just about I am delivered, I am healed. It doesn't stop at that. Now we need to go to alignment. And as we are aligning, there are things that are happening. Things are being brought back to order. Everything that was disorderly has to go back to order. Let's arrange our finances. What do we have? Systems that are okay. So what are we using? So do we have budget? Do we have a plan? What are my expenses? Back to the ledgers. Yeah. Okay. So as I conclude, hmm, before I conclude, anyone has something? Oh, today was hot. Let me give you a minute to share with me. Do you have anything to share? Because the next classes are going to be hotter. But everybody needs this hope. Everybody needs these hot classes. I also sit under a lot of teaching. Yeah, I sit under a lot of teaching. And sometimes I'm with a pen, I'm like, have you listened to tough teachers like Apostle Romy outside? Like Apostle Isi? Have you listened to those tough teachers? You listen. And yeah, okay. Oh, you really enjoyed today's topic. Thank you. Your friends have lost you because you're no longer their type anymore. Oh, definitely. That's what happens in life when you're upgrading. But then, when God gives you a solution, you also have to comfort the ones that are still experiencing the same. And it's in this it's in the for example, when I say point five, yeah, allow God to rebuild you differently. Even the way you do things is going to be different. So if I was going out, reaching out to individuals, helping, teaching, trying to, I see opportunities in you, and no. Now he told me, okay, this is the way you do it. Come to class and teach. Open up a YouTube channel, teach. Da, da, da. So I'm here teaching. See? So if anybody wants to learn, they can come to class and learn. So you don't get affected by all these betrayals and all. Okay? So that's why you need to build a system. You need to build a structure around your purpose. And that's exactly what we are doing. Now we are emptying our vessels. Okay? So as I conclude, the widow believed she had nothing left. But heaven was seeing the oil. I love little oil. Heaven was seeing the little oil that she had. They were seeing. So what is it that you have? What is it that you have ignored? What are those abilities that you have ignored? Hmm? We search for purpose and we completely ignore what already exists within us, by the way. Because people you see out there who are doing exploits, they have also sat under instruction, they have process, they have allowed themselves to heal and align and receive instructions and move differently. And then they go out there, then you're like, all of a sudden, what happened? Where did she get? She did not all of a sudden. She put in the work. Transformation begins when we stop clinging to what is destroying us internally. What is it that is destroying you internally? You don't see your worth. Have you got to that point of you don't see your worth? You keep trying to look for everything elsewhere in other people when it actually is in you. Because everybody has a value that they can dispense. If you focus on building that value, then but if you focus on what you don't have and minimize what you have, then you're taking a wrong turn. Mhm. So allow God to feel those areas or places in your life or within you that you have surrendered. You've written them down there in your notebook. You've surrendered and you've said, you know what? I need to release anger. I need to release bitterness. I need to release envy. I need to release jealousy. I need to release fear. I need to release the need to control everything. I need to release empty vessels and not signals of failure. When you see a vessel that is empty, you just know that that empty vessel that you're seeing there has been under they say work in progress. You know those things on the roads. It has been going through work in progress. Now, when God says, bring to me those ones who have offered themselves as a sacrifice, and they open the books. Are you in that book? Because it's time for rewarding. So when they open the book, Mia, okay, take me, give me her things. Sim, okay, take Sim her things. Kezi, okay, take. Because he will not reward you, he will not increase. You want him to increase on what? The woman went and borrowed empty jars. She went inside with her two sons. She locked the door. She started doing the work that I've just explained to them. She started emptying. Then she started replacing. Wherever she would empty, she would replace. Wherever she would empty, she would replace. Empty, replace. Empty, replace. She would not empty and leave it empty. Because whatever was there before will still come around and say, let me first go back and visit where I was before. It's cleared, garnished. Enter with 7 more others. Colleagues, come, let's go. It's empty. What we are doing is we empty, we replace. We empty, we replace. We empty, replace. By the time we finish emptying and replacing, then we will say, here I am. I've come with my faith. I've come with my 2 loaves. I've come with my bread. I've come with my fish. Okay. But don't go with the empty hands like this. It has to be something. Does that need capital? Huh? That doesn't need capital. Because you're going to be following instructions. Okay, for this one, now you need to do this. Now you need to do this. Now you need to. Okay, so this is gone. Oh, it has gone. It has gone. Oh. Practical. Nothing like theory. Conversation is over. Hajara, you didn't know that you could spend 3 hours without opening your phone? Thanks for the teachings. You're welcome. I'm glad that this has an impact on you like that. We used to gossip about everything every day. We even had a group for gossips. But me, you see why we miss you when you don't come. Please make sure you come every day because that's funny. But thank you for sharing. But you see, I like the word used to. But when you look at all the personalities in the Bible, are very, very stubborn people. Very, very stubborn people. This one killed this one was a what, this one was an adulterer, this one. Those are the ones that he uses. Very stubborn people. Naughty, I should say. Okay? So, like I said, please don't look at yourself or look at other people that they are empty, they have failed. Before you know it, You start saying, where did they go? I think they went to a witch doctor. They did not go to a witch doctor. The emptiness that you have been seeing, they have been working behind closed doors. Sometimes our greatest miracles begin when human strength finally runs out. That is when you receive a call. Kezi, um, we've been checking out your. So there's this opportunity. But who has rewarded? We open up the books, okay? Take So, call to action. Take inventory of your internal life today. Remember, I told you if you come tomorrow, it's like as if I have a stick in my hand. If you come tomorrow and you've not taken inventory of your internal life, because when we begin the class, we begin with yesterday. We give you 10 minutes, so come on time. So I'll try to be on time. But make sure when you come to class, begin with telling me. Then we go on to the next lesson. Then we go on. Then we make sure we try to have Q&As at least. We don't wait until the end of the series. Okay? So that we can make sure, are we on track? Because now I'm going to hold you accountable. I don't want you to tell me everything, but I want to see that you're doing something about it. Don't waste my time. And also, I don't want to waste your time. I, I want to see you move from here to there. Okay? I want you to ask yourself honestly, what in me needs to be emptied? Casey, write the question. What is in me that needs to be emptied? You don't have to empty it now. Wait for the classes. Then we start being very practical so that you just now need to think about it and write it. Go reflect the whole day and evening, what? Then write it. But write it. What is it that is in you that needs to be emptied? Question 2. What are you still carrying that is blocking transformation? Memorizing the past. Write it. Write it. Because when we start breaking this down, it's going to help. What are you still carrying that is still blocking transformation? Question 2. What are you carrying that is blocking transformation? I mean, she has marked you present. Class monitor Casey. What are you still carrying that is blocking transformation? Question 3. What fears, patterns, distractions, or wounds have occupied space that belongs to purpose? I repeat. What fears, patterns, distractions, or wounds have occupied space that belongs to purpose? That one, I want you to be very honest. What are those fears? What are those patterns? What are those distractions? What are those wounds that have occupied space that belongs to purpose? Thank you. I'm giving you more questions. This one is tough, this series. What must live your life? What must live your life? There's a difference between identifying, when I ask you to write down these questions, and identify and like when you start working on that. For example, what must live your life? You cannot say, this must live my life, then today you chase it out. No, we're now going to learn how to. So, what must live your life? Who? Me, Kezi, you're right. Let your eyes be on her. Mia, Kezi is your accountability partner. Another question. Okay, what do you think? I know this has come too early, but I feel like I just need to ask this. That when you identify, even if it's wrong or small, but what is it that God may already be trying to develop within you that you yourself have identified? What is it that He may already be trying to develop in within you that you know, you somehow know, or what is it that God may already be trying to develop within you? Because when you have a little bit of a knowing, then as you go on creating your roadmap, you'll start adjusting according to what you will be hearing. Okay. Hmm. So, what is that oil that still remains in your house that you have ignored? What is that oil that still remains in your house that you have ignored? Even if you don't answer this question now, you can keep it, pack it. When we get to some point at the end, you'll go back. If you have your book properly, you'll go back and say, in the beginning I answered this, and I'll ask you this question. In the beginning, I answered this question like this. Can you imagine after the whole transformation process, I was so wrong? It's nice to do that. It will help you to see that. Let me leave that one. But just wait, that oil. What oil still remains in your house that you have ignored? What oil still remains in your house that you have ignored? So, as I end today's class, purpose does not begin when you have everything. No, it doesn't begin when you have everything. It actually almost begins when you're empty. That's why I called it the Empty Vessel series, because we are going to empty so that purpose can fill those empty spaces. Purpose is one word, but what is in that one purpose are the tasks, the responsibilities, the things that you're going to do, the assignments. Okay? And it begins when you surrender what no longer belongs within you. The moment you surrender hatred, jealousy, bitterness, anger, the moment you start surrendering all those things, the need to people please, control, surrender the burnout. If you're a leader, a steward, a visionary, and you're tired, you're exhausted, you've done everything, you want to walk in impact, you're thinking legacy, you're thinking dominion, this is the right space for you. Okay? Mm. Unless you have anything else. Unless you have anything else, thank you very much for joining the um, Empty Vessel series, lesson 1, empty to be filled. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it has made a difference. And I hope we've begun a totally different journey today. Unless you have anything, I want to close the class and say goodbye and see you tomorrow. Same time, 12:15. I've asked you questions. If you come here without a very big difference, oh, that's nice to hear. If you come here without answers, and don't miss. Brenda, you have a habit of missing. Don't miss. Mm? You're welcome. Don't miss class tomorrow. Okay, guys? I'll see you tomorrow. Like Kezi says, shalom, shalom. Thank you, Juliet. Thank you all, Sim. Thank you all. Thank you, guys. Thank you for attending the class. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Grace. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hajara. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate the time that you put out to be in this class. Mia, Kezi, thank you so much. Pius came on. I don't know if he's still there, but thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for attending. And have a very beautiful day. As usual, be fruitful, multiply, replenish. Grace, thank you for telling Brenda subdue and take dominion, okay? Who is following up with sin? Sometimes sin also dodges. He's following up with sin. It's nice to have each other as accountability partners. Okay. It's nice to have each other as accountability partners. So, guys, have a very beautiful day. Thank you so much for coming. Bye bye. Shalom, shalom. Hey, Grace, you're following up with Sim and who? And Brenda. Eh? Yeah. Thank you, Grace. Thank you very much. Okay, guys. Bye bye.